Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time coming across my video, coming across my content, I want to say welcome. Like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel. Currently, I believe I'm on 62 subs. The goal before the season started was about 100, but seeing as though we only have essentially 2 days left before the season starts, at least if we can push it to like 70 and then just keep it rolling in, once the season is going, that would really be appreciated. Because, getting the video out there, you liking it, you sharing it, you subbing to the channel. It's obviously a very important to, myself trying to build the channel, trying to build the brand. So again, I just want to say Akwaba, if this is your first time. Akwaba essentially means welcome, like I said earlier. But today's video is going to be me predicting how the Premier League table potentially might look like come, the last match day. There's been a big reshuffle. I like when you looked at how certain teams finished last year and the league positions they finished in. Yeah, my table doesn't look anything like that. I think I have a few I think some people might see this as like controversial and others might be like, what are you on? But again, earlier today, I felt strongly about the positions I placed some of these teams in. And this is really no bias. I'm just looking at kind of the business some of these teams have done throughout the summer. Like you take West Ham, for example. I think they've really bought well. They've strengthened that team in so many key areas. And the scary part is they signed Somerville, Fulkrug. They signed the Argentinian international. I can't remember his name. They still have Bowen. They still have Kudus. They still have Paqueta. That team is looking really stacked. They signed Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well. So I think, again, the only thing that might really not work in West Ham's favor for me is that these players don't really gel in. Like when Forest went and bought a heap load of players, they really just never kind of got that whole thing, they just never got it to work. But I'm just going to bring up the table and I will kind of explain why I put certain, teams in certain positions. Again, if you disagree, whatever your table might look like, top 5, top 4, the top 6, top 10, let me know in the comments. Because I want to see what people are thinking. I want to genuinely make sure that I might be onto something or I might just be crazy with this. So I will show you guys on the screen. So that's my prediction for the league position for the year. You can see I still have Man City, obviously coming in as champions, which means they're going to go 5 in a row. No one's ever done that before. And again, it would be nice to have someone else kind of win it. But I just think Man City having the experience, the know-how, I don't really see anyone doing any business in the transfer window. And when I say anyone, I mean your Arsenals, your Liverpools, your Chelseas, your Man Uniteds. I don't see them really haven't done anything to really bridge that gap. Arsenal, again, they had one of the best defenses in the league last year, and they went in and got Calafiori, who was another defender. And, one of the apparent, kind of problems we've seen Arsenal to have is they need a goal scorer. They need a number 9. So, again, I think Man City's know-how, them just being there, done it. Granted, yeah, they've lost Alvarez, but again, that team is so strong. I think Oscar Bob is probably going to be out for a couple of months, so that's another option they don't have. But they brought in Savio. They still have Bernardo Silva. They still have Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne. They still have Grealish. They have Holland. I don't know if they're going to strengthen before the window ends. I would assume so, only because we saw how when Holland got injured some parts of the season last year, Alvarez stepped in and they didn't really look out of shape. They didn't look, you know, they just looked, and we always kind of expected Man City to win it regardless. But now having lost that option in Alvarez, I think they definitely need to strengthen. I was tempted to go with Arsenal only because, again, like I said, City have already sold Julian Alvarez. Arsenal are looking to strengthen that midfield. They're looking at Marino from Real Sociedad. It's looking like that deal might go through, and that will give them more depth in midfield. It's just the attack for me. They've been linked to, as per reports and some of their fans, Victor Gyökeres is the option they're looking for that number 9 position. It's yet to be seen if they're going to sign him. So again, I would have given them the edge. The only reason Man City still wins it for me is that they've just been there. They still have the best coach in Europe for me right now, in Pep Guardiola. So I think they take it. I went with Liverpool third because, again, Liverpool haven't really lost their spine, but they lost one of the biggest factors for me, and that was Klopp. I believe that they might struggle a bit, only because I think Klopp was always that like X factor that won them points. And I keep saying this. I believe some of their fans don't realize how big of an impact that loss might be. But they've looked good in preseason. They've slapped teams around. They've won a lot of games. So they're looking good. Only thing is they still don't have a number 6. And of course, we all saw that on the news when you go on Spaces on Twitter. Their target for that position, Zubimendi, decided to stay in Spain. He decided he didn't want to go to Liverpool. So now Liverpool are back to having no DM. And as per reports, it's not looking like they're going to sign a replacement. If anything, they're looking at a goalkeeper, Mamadashvili. They're going to loan him out to Bournemouth for like a season or so, and then he's going to come back. So they didn't really tackle the areas that they were essentially lacking in. But I think Liverpool still have a lot of quality. Van Dijk, Trent, Salah, Alisson. That's your core right there. Konate. So even though I expect them to struggle a bit, I still believe they're going to be coming in third. I went with Chelsea fourth. If the rumors are true and we're able to sign Joao Felix and we're able to add Victor Osimhen into this team, I'm one of those people that has always kind of believed that, yeah, when you look at how the team has been built, when you look at how the squad has been developed, I think that the squad building has been, sort of all over the place. But I still like to believe in some of the quality that these guys possess. You're looking at your Lavias, your Caicedos, your Enzos, your Gustos. I think that's a lot of quality. Now, Pedro Neto has been brought in. You still have Cole Palmer, the young player of the season last year, one of the best players in the league last year. You still have him. You have a fully fit Christopher Nkunku ready to go. You have Nicholas Jackson, who had a very good first season, could have had a much better season anyway. But now this is another year of experience that he's going to have. So again, it's looking like if the coach can get a lot of these pieces to work, we might be able to at least get a spot in the Champions League places. I know our defense has been a problem, though. But with that, I think, you know, a lot of these guys don't have the experience. And honestly, that should have been a position that should have been looked at in a different way. Yes, they recruited some options in Tosin and Viega, but I think when you lose someone like a Thiago Silva, who's experienced, his leadership, his know-how, just being able to read the game and kind of like coach these guys alongside him, I think that loss is going to be big. So me putting them forth is just me banking on the fact that the defense will essentially eventually catch up and get with the program. I think we're going to have enough firepower to win certain games, even it's a high scoring game. I know they say defenses win you titles, goals win you games, right? We're clearly not going for no titles right now, especially the Premier League. But we need to win certain games. And hopefully, again, by the end of the transfer window, Osimhen comes through the door, Felix comes through the door, and then we can really challenge for this top four. Now, in fifth position, I've put Man United. I still think I don't really think the additions they've added to the team drastically improve them. I think De Ligt is going to be a big addition because I believe bar Martinez, De Ligt is probably their next best defender, what you're currently available. Because honestly, Yoro's out for a couple of months, so he's not going to be available. Not sure what's happening with Lindelof. Maguire, I just don't think he's a good enough defender for Man United. So De Ligt coming in, partnering with Martinez, I think they're going to have some sort of like a defensive stability. But I just don't really fancy their midfield up towards the striking options. I know Højlund had double-digit goals last year, but again, he didn't really score for an extended period of time, and then he just had goals going in back to back to back to back. Again, he had a decent season, but Højlund, I don't think is ready to lead the line yet. They brought in Xerxes. Again, I think he's a nice techie player. I don't think he's clinical enough to give Man United that push into the top four. You can argue that Marcus Rashford could have one of those seasons where he gets you about 25 goals, maybe 30 goals in all comps. But again, what Rashford are we going to get this season? We don't know. Hence why I put him in fifth. I think the only thing that really like flatters to deceive for United is their style of play kind of is still similar for me. Yeah, there have been slight improvements, but as of last year, what we saw, it just wasn't good enough. So I'm going to keep them in fifth. Aston Villa, I put sixth. And the question will be, why wouldn't you put Villa a lot, higher up the table? I think that individually, we as Chelsea fans or like Chelsea as a team, I think we have a better team than Villa on paper. I think we have a better set of like individuals, and Villa has a better team. But the only reason I put us and United ahead of Villa is because I think we have enough quality to eventually come through. And I think Villa having to play Champions League and Premier League games, having games midweek. And I know they strengthen too. They got Onana, they got Ross Barkley. They have these two players coming from Juventus for Douglas Luiz. So they also strengthen. But I just don't believe they're going to have that season that they had, just based on how, and like how Newcastle had that good season and then the following season they fell off. I'm anticipating something similar for Villa, but I think they still have a fantastic coach. So I believe they're going to make the top six. Spurs come in seventh. I don't think they've done enough in the market, but they have made a big addition in the striker position. I think Solanke still gives them about 15 to 17 goals in the league, but I'm just not convinced about Spurs. I think they're still going to play that crazy high line like Chelsea play right now. And I just don't see, like, if you take out Son, potentially again, I can't really say Solanke because I don't know how he's going to play, in Spurs. When you look at Solanke and Bournemouth, he was that main, like the main guy. Going to Spurs is a different option, right? You still have Son, who's still like the leader in that attack. So I don't know how that chemistry might go, but I anticipate Solanke still gets some goals. But I just don't think they have enough quality going forward. I don't rate Brennan Johnson. Timo Werner is dead food. Kulusevski is a shadow of the player he was. I think you can't rely on Madison for a whole season because he gets injured as we all expect or anticipate. And again, Son hasn't really been the human Son. He'll still get you double digit goals, but I don't see him hitting higher levels that he did last year. Hence me putting Spurs seventh. Now I put Newcastle in eighth, and they could have went a bit higher for me. Now they're going to have one game a season, so I expect them to be a lot harder to beat at home, and then still have some good games away. They've kept Isak so far. They've still kept Gordon. Joe Linton is still there. I think they have the midfielder that was banned. I forget his name. It's not coming to me. Tonali. Tonali's back. They have Lewis Hall. They have Livramento. They have a good team. I just don't see them doing enough to beat the teams ahead of them. Hence why I put Newcastle in eighth. I put West Ham in ninth because I just don't think they're going to do better than Newcastle. Even though I definitely rate the transfer window they have, I just think overall Newcastle would have a bit more than West Ham for that eighth position. Hence why I put West Ham in ninth, Newcastle in eighth, Brighton 10th, just because I just don't see the other teams, below them doing any better than Brighton do. I think Brighton still have a good team. They still have good attackers, and they still have a nice structure. So I still see them being around, the top 10. 11th, I went with Crystal Palace. Michael Olise leaving to Bayern Munich, I think, is going to be a big loss because he contributed to so many goals and so many assists in such a short amount of game time. So him leaving, those goals, those assists, I just don't see them being able to replicate that form that they had, to close out the season last year. I don't see them being able to maintain that throughout the season. So I put them in 11th. I put Brentford in 12th. Again, it's for me, Brentford, the last year they didn't really rely on Ivan Toney as much, but I just don't think they have as much quality as Palace does. Hence me putting Palace in 11th, Brentford in 12th. That's just how I felt, and that's where I put them. Wolves, 13th. They lost Pedro Neto. They still have Cunha. They still have a decent team out there, but I just don't see them doing any better than the two teams above them. Forest, 14th. They signed a whole lot of players. Again, I think they're still a good team. I just haven't seen them really gel for me, and I just think they're going to come 14th. Bournemouth, I put 15th. They've lost Solanke, someone who scored about 17 to 19 goals last year. So that's about 70% of their goals. All right, let me not say 70, but that's at least about 40% of your goals, 35% of your goals out at the club. So I anticipate them to struggle with some goals, but I just think I just think when you go play them at home, they're a hard team to beat at home. The Vitality Stadium. I think that's going to be where they get a lot of their points. And I put Ipswich in 16th. Don't really know much about Ipswich except they had McKenna. They came through from the championship last year. They bought Omari Hutchinson. From what I've been told, they have a nice style of play, and their home games are going to be hard for teams that, their away team that travels. That's all I know about Ipswich, and I don't think they're going to do any better than the teams above them. So I put Ipswich in 16th. Everton, they're a very interesting one because Everton used to be the team that will always be kind of up in the top four. The last two seasons, they've had their point deductions. I believe they had 2 last year, and they still managed to stay in the league. So kudos to them. I haven't seen any really good business from Everton, so I don't really think they're going to have a good season. Hence, I put them in 17th, and I put Leeds in 18th. They lost Somerville. They lost Archie Gray. That's arguably two of like their key players. So again, I don't really see them doing. Like, Leeds have been in the league before, so they kind of have a bit of a know-how, but I see them going right back down. Southampton 19th. Again, I don't see them finishing any higher than where they are. And I went with Leicester City to finish bottom of the league, only because I've heard murmurs that they might potentially get a points deduction after, I guess, like spending too much money or something like that. If someone can correct me. So I think it was for something related to like PSR or whatever it was. But if they're going to get points deductions, then I think the odds are already stacked against them. So I don't see them doing any better. So this will be my prediction. Again, Man City first. Top 4 is going to be Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. Now, I have a second prediction that I tweaked just one league position. And the reason for doing that is, I don't know. I just kind of felt like that's what I needed to do. I don't know why. Maybe it's me having my blue tinted glasses on. Maybe it's because I'm anticipating that we get Joao Felix and Victor Osimhen. But in this prediction, I put Chelsea to come second, Arsenal third, Liverpool fourth. Now, I know you guys are probably going to think I am losing my mind. I don't know. It's just a feeling I have. You know, one of those, you feel like something awkward might happen, and this might just turn out to be, you know, how the season goes, us finishing second. I mean, it would be crazy if this is what we did. But again, honestly, I don't see this happening. I don't know why I had a feeling this might happen, hence why I put it up here. But again, as long as we qualify for the top 4, I'm cool with that. But yeah, this is my prediction. You know, so something sneaky is telling me that Arsenal might actually win the league this year, but yeah, that can't happen. Like, and the only reason why that cannot happen, because obviously we're rivals. And when you go in spaces, Arsenal fans talk a lot. And for a team that hasn't really won anything big in the last 5 to 6 years, they really have a lot of chest. They always ask Chelsea fans how many Premier League titles we have. I believe Arsenal has like 13. We have about 6. But they never ask how many European Cups we have, because we have about 6 of those and they have 0. So I can't stand for Arsenal winning the league. I'm sorry. Reason why Man City can keep winning the league and most people not care is because most people just don't care about Man City. If this was an Arsenal winning the league, Liverpool winning the league, Man United winning the league, or Chelsea winning the league, yeah, like people are going to be upset about that. But Man City, they're kind of like the team that I think most people just don't really respect them enough. So if they keep winning, man, nobody cares. It's just like, whatever. Man City won again. Yeah, cool. You ain't got no fans. You know, shit like that. But yeah, I can't stand for Arsenal to win this league because it'll be problems. It'll be problems for us rivals, for us. You know, the London clubs. The noise will be up there. You know, we still want to be. We're still the biggest club in London. And if Arsenal fans want to chat, you can let me know, and we can hash it out. But guys, this is the end of the video. What do you think about this? Well, not this one actually, because this is just a feeling I had. This is the actual table that I believe is potentially going to happen. Let me know what changes you guys might make. Let me know who you think is going to finish first. Let me know who you think is going to finish in the top 4. Let me know who you think is going to get relegated. Because when I first was about to do this, I almost put Ipswich Town all the way back. But then when I heard about the whole Leicester thing, I was like, huh, maybe Leicester might probably go back down again. But they have good quality players as well. So I'm not sure, but this is how the table for me is, and this is how I'm going to leave it. Guys, again, if you like the content, if you enjoy what I do, definitely sub to the channel, support the growth. This is a brand I'm trying to build, and the help really motivates. Like it makes you want to just make more content, create more content, put out more videos because people like it. That's the motivation behind it. The more people interact with your content, the more you want to make more because you understand, what? People like what you're saying. And even if people don't, they let you know why they don't. So again, let me know what you guys think. This is the end of the video. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm hearing something good about Victor Osimhen. Hopefully, I'm hearing something good about Joao Felix. Hopefully, the rivals are done strengthening because I can't afford other teams adding quality to themselves, to their ranks, and having me not qualify for Champions League again. Nah, I can't afford another year. Like it's already been damn near. This is the third season. Like we definitely need to get back into the Champions League. So yeah, I think this really might be the season that we do it. But people, end of the video. If you like it, like the video, share it, sub to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.